Alright, so this is a sit and go tournament. It's turbo. And so you get underway here. My friend's been asking me for a while to make a video like this because my results recently have been pretty good. And they want to know what I'm doing right and also, you know, what occasionally I do wrong. Alright, 9 king's not a great hand. Someone could have a jack, that'd be fine, but my king's still alive. Could hit runner for a flush, and it's 30 chips. And in terms of chip retention here, got 1440 left, that's okay. Alright, she looks serious, so we can let this go. Nothing improved there. That basically played out like a limit hand. You know, people call anything in limit just to get around. But of course in no limit you got to be a little bit more protective of your chips because there is no getting back in once you're out. In any case, I used to play on Party Poker about 4 years ago and bought him for $500 and then built that up to about, at a peak, about $9.25 or so. I remember being up about 80-85% at one point on my buy-in. But in terms of actual cash played, I mean, I never risked more than that because all Party Poker had was the $5 and $10 tournaments. That's sort of my niche. That's my specialty. So in real cash, I was up well over 200%. But then Party Poker had a crazy time there. A lot of people wrote about that. It just seemed like a lot of the decks were wired and couldn't really tell what was going on. Alright, it's an easy fold, especially from first position. And so my bankroll eventually got down to $450. So it was actually $50 underwater. And I checked the stats at that time, and I had played, I believe it was about 220 tournaments. And I dabbled in cash games, but I'm mostly a tournament player. And at that stage, things were just so crazy. I can just remember so many horrible hands. I decided to go ahead and let that account go. So lost $50 down in Party Poker. But if you factor in all the buy-ins, you know, 50 cents here, $1 there, sometimes $2 when I play the more expensive tournaments, $20 tournaments. I don't really put too much of my bankroll at risk. When you factor in all the buy-ins, I think my buy-ins totaled about $175. That means 500 minus 175 is 325. I cashed out for 450. So I ended up making about 33% on the actual, you know, money I had left over. Depends how you look at it, I suppose. But overall I play well, but boy, I just went on one of those streaks for like 3 months where you just want to just give it all up. And I finally said, hey, time to move on. So I got the Doyle Brunson hand here in the big blind. Still early, no need to do anything ridiculous or out of line. Still trying to establish player profiles here. No one seems to be doing anything too crazy yet. One of the strategies at this stage, of course, is to just be a folder. Just get a really tight image built up. Nothing wrong with that. We can switch gears later and mix it up. Alright, this is Queen 5 suited on the button. Not a great hand, but it's early. Looks like it's going to fold around to me. Alright, that looks like a steal the blinds raise. I'm going to call and defend this. Even though I have no money in the pot right now, I'm still in position on him. Oh, what do you know? Defending with a weak hand and hit top pair. So 2 queens are out, 2 are left. What are the chances my opponent has one? Well, we're going to find out shortly. Oh, that's a healthy bet, but I think I'm ahead. So let's test the waters and find out here. Wow, he's all in. Well, let's find out what's going on. Yep, I caught lucky. Now let's see if I can survive it. And I did. That was a real donk move, I have to admit. But this will go hand in hand with how these tables play out. At the lower levels, like I'm playing, this is how it often plays out. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and isolate him by re-raising with the exact same hand I just beat on him. So now he needs jacked out drawing me just like I did on him. And nope, didn't look like it happened. Well, he's got to really hate pocket nines right now after that series of hands. Back to that queen five. Very, very marginal call, no question about it. And in fact, he wasn't stealing, but I struck gold. 16% chance hitting that queen, and I hit it. And apparently he didn't believe me. It's tricky switching gears between being a believer and a non-believer. You have to really convince your mind to sometimes believe what your opponent represents, and sometimes you have to convince yourself not to believe. But in the end, you know, it's getting a read on the other players and figuring out exactly what they're doing as best you can. Ace queen, so it's early. I'm going to play a little deceptive here and just limp. Traditionally you'd raise, sure, but people now see me open up with queen five and open up with pocket nine, so they won't assume I have ace queen in this situation. Alright, it's an awfully dangerous flop, especially with the blinds in. Probabilities are that someone is connected on this flop, there's no doubt about it. But I'll bet 78 because it says 6, 7, 8 on the board, so 78 is top two pair, so why not? And there's the raise as expected. Gotta test the water sometimes. If you'd flat called me, I would have expected I could possibly pull an ace or queen and pull ahead. That's a really bad flop though for my hand. So my friend's been asking me to make a video like this for quite a while, and not that I play a whole lot, but I have really good results, and I've gone through the frustration period at these lower level games and figured out what to do to win in the long run. And I used to play poker room after party poker, and that was a much better result. I think I just put $100 in originally just to get started and have some fun money, and quickly built that up to $450, and then put another $100 in just to kind of get up a little higher so I can move up in stakes a little bit, and eventually cashed out on that site for, I believe it was $650. But again, I didn't even play that, you know, that second $100. This is all just small stake stuff. I don't know what this guy's doing with 5-8. I have no earthly idea. No draw, no nothing. Okay, now I'm in first position, and I'm going to make the raise of 4.2 times the big blind. Alright, Mr. Moneybags there just cleaned up with ace jack is calling me. Let's see what happens here. Anyhow, this is a good flop for my hand because he doesn't have a king. Very doubtful. So let's make a tiny bet. 169 into pot of 497. He called. Now the ace hits. So now I've got ace, queen. I really should have the best hand. There's very little doubt about it, but we'll find out shortly. Well, okay. Guess he, guess the diamond scared him off. That was sort of an example of small ball poker. You know, yeah, I had a great hand, no doubt about it. You know, it's 73 to 1 odds, 73 to 1 odds against someone having a king in that situation with 2 kings on board. That is to say, if I was holding a king, it'd be 73 to 1 against getting that flop. So the kings don't worry me. So ace queen is really probably the best hand.